in the latest installment of our video series that goes inside the private working worlds of designers, the consultant Hervé Pierre, the former creative director of Carolina Herrera who as the designer of Melania Trump's inaugural gown shot to fame in January, reveals how he ended up as the First Lady's stylist, where he shops and whether he will start his own label. This interview has been edited and condensed. Where are we? In my apartment, which is also where I work. I live in Madison Square Park in New York, on 26th Street. I've been in this apartment for a bit over 10 years now. When I moved to New York from Paris to work for Oscar de la Renta, I was 29 years old and lived in Greenwich Village, and I wanted to create an environment that reminded me of the French world I had left. I brought the moldings and panels with me when I moved here. I didn't have a very specific plan for how to decorate. It's like when you go to the flea market looking for a teapot and come back with a frame. Where do you actually work? In this little corner in my bedroom. It has a great view because I see the Flatiron Building, and it puts me in a good mood to sketch. What was the most important thing you learned before you went out on your own? When you work with a woman, it's not about the clothes. It's about the way a person is living, the way she eats, the way she organizes her flowers. Now I ask a question every time I put an idea on paper: where's this woman going? If you don't have a purpose, it's just an idea on paper and the dress means nothing. Can you give me an example? Years ago, when I was at Balmain in Paris, we were doing a dress for the Queen of Jordan, I think. She didn't want her left arm to move, because she just needed to do how do you do with her right hand. And she didn't need to sit either. It was a little strange, but okay, you have to respect the lifestyle of the customer you're dressing. You left Carolina Herrera last year after 15 years. How did you feel? I was a little scared in the beginning because when you work in a big environment, you are protected in a way. I was on one side of the gate, the Golden Gate, and suddenly I was in the wild. But a big corporate environment can be difficult, specifically with the number of collections. I was a bit burned out. If you don't travel, if you have 200 samples to make in the next 3 months, when do you get inspired? How does it work for your own sanity? So now you are consulting for designers, the ballet and private clients, right? Yes, I have more freedom. And I can actually pick my customers. Let's talk about your most famous client. Everyone learned your name when you made the inauguration gown. Did you know Mrs. Trump beforehand? I never met her. I met her on January 3rd. She gave me a couple of keywords. She didn't want a big ball gown, she wanted something sleek, ivory, vanilla. It had to be really right because it was going to be part of history. Part of this country's history but also part of what I will have achieved on earth. I've designed thousands of dresses, but people will remember this one most particularly. You are both designing for her and helping style her wardrobe, right? Yes, I do a bit of styling with that client but it's not really my forte. What interests me in this relationship is not just finding pretty clothes, a lot of people can do that. It's more about the legacy of this woman. Everybody has a different reaction to what she's wearing. Some of the reactions are pretty polarizing. Did you think about that? The beauty of this country is it's a democracy, so some people want to dress certain people and some people don't want to. I choose to. If you forget about the political, or whatever, that's behind it, the needs are so interesting to answer. Even if I'm not creating the clothes, it is very creative to consider how it's going to be perceived. And when you decide, you divide. I'm not always right. I make mistakes, and same for her. There's no How to Be the Perfect First Lady book. You learn on the spot. You already had some experience dressing first ladies, right? But not under my name. At Oscar, I worked on dresses for Mrs. Bush and Mrs. Clinton. When I was at Herrera, the Obama administration had a state dinner for the French president. At the time he didn't have a wife but a mistress. So the embassy sent us a note asking that we not use black for the First Lady of America because the French, I don't know if mistress is the right word, was wearing black. It could have been a little bit too sad to see both in black. But after I started to do the dress, which was a blue, the French president broke up with the mistress, so I was able to use black in Mrs. Obama's dress. That was good, because black looked very nice with the blue dot. How do you find the clothes for the First Lady? My favorite place to shop, actually, there is none because each time it's a good experience. I go to Bergdorf,